Ready when you gentlemen are.
Welcome back to Pro Wrestling Edge. I am your host, Dan O'Mac, and I'm here with my tag team partners, the Original Bro. What's up?
What up, Dan? How you doing today?
Doing all right. Today's the last day of my vacation as we record this, and I'll be back to work tomorrow, so that sucks. But other than that, I'm doing all right. How about you?
I'm just glad to be back on the pod and rocking and rolling again, and excited for our guests today.
Yep, we took a little vacation from the show, but we're back now. So we also got the Meadowbrook mobster, Nick the Gooch. What's up?
Not much, man. Just excited, like Josh said, to be on the pod. It's been a while since I've been on. You know, a new schedule kind of conflicts with me being on here, and I am really excited for the guests that we have on here today, man, and the topics of discussion. Yeah,
we have two guests. One is a familiar face and a familiar voice on Pro Wrestling Edge. The other one, actually, he did a little spot on the live show that we recorded at the Holly show.
Holly benefit, yep.
So you heard him as well. We'll get to our guest momentarily. Before we get started, Josh, where can they find you?
You can find me on Twitter at OriginalBro19, Instagram JRut19, my Facebook page Josh Rakowski, and Gooch, where people find you at.
You guys can find me on Twitter at NickCaz1, on Instagram at PWE The Gooch. Taking a little hiatus from this one, but TikTok PWE Pod The Gooch, and on Facebook at Nick Kazalukas. Where can they find you, Dan?
Taking a break from TikTok?
Dude, I've been trying to enjoy the shows that I've been going to, so I haven't gotten a whole lot of recording, man. I'm trying to work on some stuff right now, but TikTok is still up and running for the time being.
You're just keeping the spies away from you, that's all.
Yeah, you know, China and them, Russians, you know, they don't need to know my shit.
So Brandon's not with us tonight, but you can find him at, you can search him on Twitter at PWE_Big Kaz with 2 Z's. You can find him that way. You can find me at DanOmac17 on Twitter and Instagram. The podcast at PWE Pod on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. You can hear us on all streaming platforms. Josh, any shout-outs tonight?
Shout out to all of our listeners and everybody out there who's staying safe and clean still. Let's keep it that way so we keep these shows rolling here.
That's right. What about you, Gooch?
I got a shout-out to my work, actually. You know, we just had a COVID survivor. We released him the other day. He's a really nice guy. It was a pleasure serving him, and shout out to our guests today, man.
I want to shout out Tanner Nix. Tanner Nix last week won the Pro Wrestling All-Stars Cruiser Core Championship. This is his first title. He was just on the last episode, talked about how he was looking to focus on tag team at Horror Slam, but congrats to him. He's a good kid. He's a hard worker, and he definitely deserves it. So let's get to our guest, fellas. So returning to the show is RPW, Ruthless Pro Wrestling's Chris Kohlenberg. How are you, man?
How you guys doing, man? Thank you guys for having me back again. I appreciate it so much.
Of course, like we've said many times, we love what you guys are doing. You guys are doing things different, and you're grabbing our attention. So that's why I love what you guys are planning on doing here.
You know, we try to have our own flavor with what's going on around. You know, we kind of do things a little different than the normal path, but you know, we're trying to just put on the best shows we can, and we're loving the feedback. We're loving the support that everyone's given us. You know, like it's been pretty overwhelming so far.
That's awesome. And we've talked about him endless times on this show.
You've heard.
First time we've had him on actually to interview him and talk to him about what he does. But we got Steve Thompson, the man behind Hyperion Championship belts. What's up, Steve?
It's going good. How you guys doing?
We're doing well. As you see, we have some titles for our YouTube viewers. So we're going to talk about them. But first, Steve, I do want to talk to you a little bit about Hyperion Championship belts. We talk about you all the time. You are a local belt maker here in the area. You do a lot of belts for the promotions around here, some promotions not local to us as well, and you do awesome replica belts. So tell us a little bit about Hyperion Championship belts.
Well, I started this out of I went to actually a Clash show, and they had an old WWF replica tag belt as their tag team titles. I decided then, time to cut that shit out. It's gotta have fresh.
So just out of the love of it and wanting to help somebody out, you decided to give it a shot.
Yep, and then I did a lot of studying to learn how to do everything I have to do to make one of these. A lot of hours.
When did you start Hyperion Championship belts?
I want to say I made like 5 or 6 belts, and then I officially started it about a year and a half ago.
Nice. And you said your first belt you did for promotion was for Clash?
I did the Clash tag titles and followed it right up with Booker T's Reality of Wrestling, their television title.
Nice. Yeah, that's a sharp looking belt as well. How did Booker T get in contact with you?
One of my buddies that lives down in Texas runs a promotion down there, and I would always like design them belts because that's what I would do beforehand.
Okay.
Was I would create a design for somebody, and once I started making them, he was reaching out for the television title to get remade, and my buddy said, "Let's give it a shot." Called me up, and then we had all the conversations about that from there. A couple mishaps, but we got it done.
Nice. That's a huge deal doing a belt for someone as big as Booker T. So you said you've been doing it for about a year and a half.
Mm-hmm.
You've done a lot of the belts around here.
I have.
You've done some.
All the Clash belts I've done. I've done one for Pro Wrestling All-Stars. Pretty much all the belts for Horror Slam except for one. I did Metro Pro Wrestling belts. A couple further up in the state like UWE. Bunch of those.
So have there been any other out-of-state promotions that have came and noticed your work, and besides Booker T, of course, that have noticed and reached out for your work personally?
Game Changer Wrestling.
Game Changer Wrestling.
Actually, Ricky Shane Page is the guy who reached out first.
Nice.
And
you just designed their new heavyweight championship belt, correct?
Yeah, I designed and made that belt after Ricky showed him what I did for his belt. They were sold after that.
And that belt.
Oh, that Ricky belt looks amazing.
That Ricky belt is awesome.
I loved it. Loved it.
Didn't the new belt debut at the Backyard 4th of July show?
No, they haven't debuted it yet. From what I understand, is when Ricky loses his, they're going to debut that one.
Gotcha. So this year, in the last year and a half, there's been a lot of companies that have redesigned and put out new belts. You know, starting with WWE. They totally redid the Intercontinental belt. They just recently redid the United States Championship. Being a belt maker and doing designs even before that, what are your thoughts on changing 2 belts that have been pretty iconic for the WWE and making changes to them?
I always view it as when you hit a new era, you need to have something that represents that era. So with them going from the belt that like Macho Man had to that oval one for the Attitude Era, and Cody bringing it back during his reign, they needed something new for the Intercontinental title. And when they came out with that one, they got now just the designs of it. If you look at it, it meshes the old school with that oval.
Yeah.
And like the U.S. title, it was 14 years it held on.
Yeah.
Quite a long time, yeah.
Yeah, that belt made the rounds. It was due for an update.
Now, what are your personal thoughts on the design of the new U.S. title?
I would have moved stuff around a little bit. Like that eagle at the bottom, I would have moved it up to the middle and put the champion banner underneath and put a little more blue behind those stars.
As I say, how do you feel about the gold in place of the blue and the top part where it's supposed to be the blue and the white stars for the flag?
It's all right, but it lacks that pop that you need. They definitely need to add that little bit of blue.
Yes, I agree with that for sure.
So 2 people on the show today has just recently got belts from you.
Yep.
Gooch got his belt that he won, and before COVID happened, you were doing lotteries.
Yep.
Where people could put in, money and get certain number slots, and then you would do a drawing, and that person got to design and make their own belt. I know COVID happened, so I kind of stopped you doing that with those raffles. But Nick, talk to us about when you won that first raffle and your interaction with Steve and how it went for you getting your belt made from Steve.
He beat me.
I think I
had 4 slots in that raffle, but I didn't.
That's it. I only bought 2, and I never, at that point in time, I never ever in my life have won a single type of raffle, any kind of contest or anything like that. So that point aside, this belt has so much meaning to me because of the incident that happened around that same time. I don't want to get too in depth with it, but it did end up landing me in the hospital for 2 weeks, with some serious injuries, and things weren't looking good at first. So, I had a lot on my mind. I was really down. I was just losing myself. And then I just so happened to enter this drawing. And for the day that came for the drawing to happen, because we did it by the Powerball drawing, the red ball, whatever number got drawn on that determined the winner of the drawing. And I stayed up. I swear to God, it was 1 a.m. And at this time, I had been transferred from Monroe facility to a Toledo facility. So it's completely different. You have different channels. I didn't have anything to happen that had to do with Michigan lottery or anything like that. I went online, got the website from Steve, I do believe, to check on it. And I just kept refreshing my phone every 2 minutes, pulling down, refreshing the internet, and I see my number come up. And I didn't believe it, man. I was like in shock. Like, I'm probably high on all these drugs that these people are giving me right now, and sure shit, everybody started commenting on it. Congrats, bro. And then the next day is.
You were in the hospital when you won that?
I was in the hospital when I won this belt.
Wow. Okay.
So that's why I said, it had so much meaning, because I was so down, and I wish somebody could have been there to see how drastically my mood changed, my smile, how big it was when I had Steve message me that next morning. And at this point, I had maybe slept 2 hours just because of pure excitement. It was instantly like, yeah, dude, I want to do this. I want this to be on it. I want it to, represent like a lot of the reason why the back around the globe on my main plate, it's shattered glass, and it's representing the incident that happened. And yeah, I can't really put into words how happy I am to have this belt now. And I literally cried when I won that fucking belt, man. It just felt so good. And then the day, just a few weeks ago, when he was finally able to bring it to me, because, as you said, COVID kind of locked everything down. All orders got stopped. No deliveries were happening for Chris or Steve. And I couldn't stop smiling. I had him there with me. We sat here and bullshit for like an hour and a half, and I'm just cheesing the entire time, looking down, rubbing my belt, holding it like it was my baby. And like I said before, that first night, I slept with it in my bed, and now it's got its own permanent spot on my bed right next to me at night. Dude, I'm so glad to have this belt, and I really appreciate, you having that drawing and giving me the opportunity to win this and doing such an amazing job to the design that I had came up with, or we had came up with together. I couldn't ask for anything better, man. This is an amazing belt, and I cannot wait to get another one from you.
Oh yeah, and I take a different approach to doing those belts too, because I reach out and I find out what you want, and then I kind of piece together from conversations bits about it, because that's where I picked up the glass, and then I did the lettering a certain style. And what throws people off a lot when I give them their first draft of the belt is I sit down and hand draw it out. That's usually what throws people through a loop.
He sure does.
And that's one of the biggest things I really appreciate about the work that you do is you take so much time and put so much attention to detail in the work that you do for these people that, like, not even just me, for Chris himself, for the new Clash title that you put out, man, I think is absolutely beautiful compared to, so many other belts that I've seen, even in big promotions like WWE or Impact or even AEW now, man. I just really love the attention to detail to it all.
Yeah, I take a very personal leap into when I do your guys' designs, because when you look at other belt makers, they have people design their stuff. They would feed out, he wants a banner, he wants a globe, an eagle, and then they try and piece something up there where I'll sit down and have a conversation with you about what it is you would want to see. And then I take from there and I even add in little liberties just to make it fill in the spots that you missed.
Mm-hmm. And mind you, I have an artistic side to myself. I did not put one bit of pencil to a sheet of paper for any of this. This is absolutely 100% his artwork to this belt. It's just ideas from me telling him my story of what happened.
And Steve's so talented with his designs and these belts that he's put out. If you are listening to this and maybe you're not familiar, and you're like, oh, that's his belt, and you want to see some of these belts, where can they see these belts out there? I know you got a Facebook, you got an Instagram, and a Twitter, right, Steve?
Yeah, I have a Hyperion Championship Belts page on Facebook. I want to say it's Hyperion_belts on Instagram. And I think it's just Hyperion Belts on Twitter. But yeah, I post pictures of it all.
Then you also have a Facebook group page.
I do.
Belts.
Yeah, and that's I keep it to the point where you have to be added in, because you always get a lot of those guys from like Pakistan that gets in those kind of groups, and they just flood everybody. I don't want people to have to deal with that.
And the one good thing about his Facebook group page, with Steve's keen eye for design and keen eye for what a belt should look like, Steve will post a belt pretty much every day. It's the belt of the day or the belt of the week on what is a belt. And some of these belts that you're finding and put out there, these are belts from different eras. These are belts, these aren't the ones we're seeing on TV right now. You're doing some research to find these belts. And another thing that Steve is so good with, he allows us podcasters, he allows Chris and other promoters to promote their stuff on that Facebook group page.
Mm-hmm.
That's something that Steve doesn't have to do, and he does that from us just because his love and fandom for wrestling. So that we're all grateful for you. And you also, on that page, you put up matches.
I do.
And you pull some matches out of archives, and there's some good stuff going on. So if you're interested in those type of things, go to Facebook, to the Hyperion Belts Facebook group page. Like Steve said, it's he has to approve your your invite to join the page, because he just doesn't want people flooding the timeline, taking away for what it's meant for. But reach out. And if you're serious about wrestling, you're serious about being a part of a community, join that page. And I highly recommend you going to Hyperion Championship Belts on Facebook. He has so much of his work there that you can see what he does and how talented this man is. So for the fact that he's doing belts for Booker T and he's doing belts for GCW, it speaks volumes for what Steve does. So check him out. If you're in the market for a replica belt, if you're in the market to have a custom belt made like Nick has, reach out to him. He'll be more than happy to work with you. And as you can see, I will post a picture of Nick's belt when I release this episode on social media. You'll see what it looks like. It's fantastic.
Regardless, whatever way you go, replica or custom belt, man, you can't go wrong with Hyperion. Can't stress this enough. This man is a artistic genius when it comes to this stuff.
I appreciate the good words.
We have another belt on this show that Steve recently finished. Chris has got that right now. That's the RPW, as we all, me and Josh at least, are representing RPW right now. Go back to our first episode with Chris where he talks about how RPW was formed and everything, but I'm guessing, Chris, but I'll let you tell the story. I'm guessing you saw Steve's work and that's why you reached out to him, but tell us how you hooked up with Steve for that belt.
I had met Steve through like horror slam events, like we had just met, just people enjoying the show. And it was when they debuted and for a while I kept under wraps I was starting this promotion. Like we worked on it behind the scenes for a while. And they had debuted the new heavyweights horror slam belt that Steve had designed and made. And it was such a good looking belt and had such a different design, kind of in the vein we wanted, something a little more badass and, like kind of different, that I had taken notice. So our path was a little different. He originally was designing this like we were all involved. There's a few of us running this company. Myself being the owner, and then I have a few. We all consider each other equals, but we run it. I'm just kind of the guy that takes the face of it,
Yeah.
But there was another guy that was with us for a little while. He had taken up talking with Mitch about getting this thing designed, and we were all designing it together and sending us our ideas. Well, he was designing it, we were sending him ideas. The design came back, and one of the things we had really hammered home is that we didn't like traditional face types. We wanted an interesting design. We wanted a kind of a different style plate. We wanted it kind of something that had a kind of classic vibe, but also was modern, which is kind of hard to put on somebody. And the guy delivered, man. I mean, I know you guys can't see all the detail, over Zoom, but if you go to our Facebook, there's pictures over at Hyperion, and it has both those elements. It has the interesting, front plate design. It has like some of the old school, like classic, with the globe and all that, but then, some modern stuff. We did the cross turnbuckle and Ohio here to kind of, give it some little bit of Toledo love. And our whole thing is we want a stiffer, more brutal style of wrestling. So our tag is Toledo Strong Style. So, he put that in the belt for us. And, you guys, Nick was there when I got the belt. Him and I both got the belts at the same time. Well, he got his a little before me, but we had all met up as a group to get our belts. And I mean, I was pretty over the moon and still am. I'm going to be sad when I have to go put this thing around somebody in a couple of weeks,
Shit, you were over the moon. I was over the moon sitting there getting my new belt, sitting with my belt designer and a wrestling promoter I just felt like the biggest fucking mark. Like, dude, this is the coolest shit ever, man. I can't believe I'm sitting here with the man from RPW and the man who makes our fucking belts. This is great.
Well, what was fun about it is, we got the belts all over our shoulders, just so excited to have them, and your neighbors just all looking at us like, the hell is going on over there? Championship gold is sitting around,
We had like a good 4 or 5 houses just driving by, like, what the hell is going on, man? What's up with this?
I will say, when we came to get the belt, it was kind of like a treasure hunt because the address you gave us, there's two places with the same address.
Yes.
So we ended up at some abandoned restaurant and then had to drive to a whole other location.
I said that's what messed me up, because I thought he was originally just coming to drop mine off real quick and then meeting you somewhere because, you guys are closer to the Toledo border and whatnot. I wasn't expecting you guys to come up here.
I think I shoehorned myself in because I was so excited for it. He had originally been like, well, I got to go meet up with Nick, and then I'm going to meet up with you later in the week. And then it just came down to, well, I can just take yours with meet up with Nick if you guys want me to meet up there. And I was like, we're on the way. Because I had been, with COVID, he had problems getting the leather shipped.
Mm-hmm.
So, there was a good amount of wait. We were super excited to see it. And it got to the point where I was just like, man, I want to see this thing so bad in person. And I'd seen pictures at that point. And, I was really excited about it. And, when you finally have it in your hands and you feel the weight of it and the craftsmanship, not to sit over here and lick your balls there, Steve, but you damn well put you some serious work into these things. And not only does he do the plates and hand paint them, but he tools the leather and everything, cuts it right around to the plates. I mean, it's a real quality production he's got going on over there, and he's got something else in the works that I can't really say much about, but I'm real happy with what's going on in that direction too.
Now, let me ask you this: while he was coming close to the end, coming close to finishing your belt, would he tease you with these little teaser pics of your plates and shit? It's just like little snippets, like the top part. That drove me crazy because I heard he goes,
show us a lot of the main plate. We would get pictures of like the side plates or something, just like, hey man, so we're kind of working on this. And he even no-sold me when I came to pick it up. He had it behind him. He's sitting in the back of his van. He had a blanket over it, and you could see that I'm over there just geeking out, being a mark about this shit. And, he's straight like, oh, you want to see it? All right, here you go.
He's all nonchalant about it and shit.
Yeah. I think he kind of loves seeing the reaction.
What was that, Steve?
Like the king of no stop.
Yeah.
The king of no stop.
I will definitely give you – I have stand next to you at several shows. We have shot the shit over shows. And even, like, when a high spot or something crazy happens, like – you react, but you're just like, I'm over there like, oh, shit. You are the king of no-cells, my friend.
I am. I know. There's a lot of the shows I go to, they always run through like, did you hate the show? You looked so just like stoic standing there. I'm like, yep, that's what I do.
It took me a minute to figure you out with that. Like, for a while, it does sometimes look like you're bored, but no, you're drinking it in. You're just drinking it all.
It's like he's sitting there studying exactly like every single bit of what's going on during that show, the moves, who's in it, who's ring announcing, how they're ring announcing. He's kind of like Dan in a way, because Dan's not too boisterous at these shows either, except for the last one.
I've seen Dan pop a couple times.
A few times. I haven't seen him pop too much, but he is.
I saw a moment during the Ray Jacobs Paxton Calloway match where he popped pretty good when a big man took a swanton over the top rope.
And Chris, you missed me. I mean, when Tanner won his belt, oh my gosh, I went ape shit.
I think I actually do have video of that when he came out and celebrated with you and Josh. Just came in and you guys fucking like group hugged him and shit. I got video of that for you.
Yeah, that was probably the biggest time I've popped was when Tanner won. But so last time we talked,
you get back to people like them on a personal level as opposed to just on a working level, Yeah,
the first time I interviewed Tanner, he was like a month out of wrestling school, and we've just kept in contact ever since. You know, he lets me know what he's doing, you know, what shows he's getting booked on and stuff. And then I bring him back on the show, and it was just the very next show he was on, he brings home gold. So I did pop pretty hard for him. But the last time we talked to you, Chris, we were getting ready to have the first RPW Horror Slam Undisclosed Location show.
Yes.
As a fan, I think it went off. It was great.
Thank you.
As a fan, it was great. And the spot you're talking about, Dre Jacobs and Callaway, holy shit, yes. I popped hard for that. That was
every day you see a 7'3" guy that's 400 pounds do a diving jump over the top rope, you know?
That was my favorite match of the night.
Absolutely. I'd never
Always
seen
sold me all the way that night.
Dude blew my mind. I became an instant fan of Callaway's that night.
You'll be seeing more of him at RPW.
I am so glad to hear that.
He unfortunately will not be there this weekend, scheduling conflicts. But our next 2 planned shows, he is on.
Fantastic.
So we had the one show. We're getting ready to have another show. And now you got that shiny belt draped over your shoulder. And you mentioned earlier that you're going to hate to give that thing, you know, get that thing off your shoulder and give it to somebody else. First of all, what's the plans for coming up for the next show for RPW? And what's the plans for that nice, shiny piece of jewelry on your shoulder?
Well, here's what we decided to do. We decided to take some big winners from the first RPW show and then put them in a #1 contender match with some what we think are going to be some future contenders that haven't necessarily debuted in RPW. So we're going to have on Saturday 2 #1 contendership matches. The first being Dre Jacobs versus Dread King Logan, and the second being Sam Beal versus Dominic Guarini.
Nice.
So one of those 4 men, after our September show, will have this again across their belly.
So one of those 4 guys,
Yep.
saying will be the RPW champion.
Yep. They're going to have #1 contendership matches, and then in September's not going to be a co-branded with Horror Slam. It's just going to be straight RPW show, and the main event will be for this title right here.
You know, I'm excited to see more of that Sam Beal too, because just like Callaway, that was my first time seeing him that night, and another guy, very talented, blew my mind away on his match, man.
You know, we see a lot in Sam. He's been somebody, you know, we've been working on this promotion for almost a year now, even though our first show was only a month ago. But that had a lot to do with COVID and stuff too. But 2 of the guys, when we really first started talking about this thing, where, you know, like we really want them to be cornerstones of the promotion, were Sam Beal and Jason Page. We saw a lot in them. You know, Jason Page had that #1 contendership spot, but unfortunately, he decided to go to Cancun. So he said he was going to take a vacation. He just got himself a buy-in. He didn't have to go to the bracket. So
that's
moved
unfortunate.
down to Sam.
Well, I'm sure that whoever took that spot is happy he went on vacation.
That would be Sam Beal.
And now he has an opportunity.
Against the Bone Collector, Dominic.
That's not going to be easy for Sam Beal at all.
I mean, if anyone's familiar with Dominic, I mean, he's off of he just came out of ICW. He wrestled Zack Sabre Jr. in AIW. I mean, he is no slouch. He's one half of Violence is Forever, the tag team. He's wrestled for GCW. He is a bad, bad man. So Sam's got
Major League Wrestling.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, he was at one of the undisclosed location shows.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was kind of, and you got to come out and be the ring announcer for that one.
Well, they wanted me introducing our Ohio boys, so.
Yeah, that was. I was shocked when you made that announcement, because I did not.
We kept it under wraps. We wanted it to be a surprise. That's why I gave it the whole making a special appearance in the announcement when he was coming out. Yeah. I don't think people were expecting to see Dominic Guarini come out of that backstage. So.
Yeah, because I hadn't seen him prior to that. You guys kept him hid pretty well.
We did the same thing with Paxton. You know, we wanted that moment. Like, if you remember that first RPW show, we kept Paxton backstage the entire time. We didn't want him coming out. We didn't want people seeing that. We had a giant coming out, you know. And then there was that moment when he finally strolled out where people, their breath was.
Yeah, my
400-pound man that was built like the Undertaker come out, you know.
Oh.
But he's doing
I had
rope
my-
spots, high flying.
I know. I seen
Another
that big
match.
bastard come out. Oof.
Yeah. There's another match that's been announced for the RPW show with Horror Slam on Saturday.
What's that? You talk about the Chase Burnett,
Percy
Uncle
Drew.
Chase Percy?
Yes.
You know, that originally wasn't something we had planned. And Uncle Chase sent us a video calling out Percy, and then I was like, man, that's some solid booking right there. But, you know, Percy, that kid is apparently, you know, he's coming off some big wins. You know, he's really collecting some W's. And he didn't take too kindly getting called out, so he upped the ante. He wanted fans bring the weapons. So it's a no DQ fans bring the weapons match.
When he was on with me and Josh,
Barnett and Percy Drews.
when he was on with me and Josh, he talked about he was ready to do some more hardcore extreme weapons matches. He told Josh and I that when he was on the show.
Yeah, I heard. It's kind of funny. That conversation came with me pretty close to that.
Yeah, that's
He was trying to talk me into a death match, and I was like, you know, Percy, let's see how you do in a hardcore match before we start worrying about that shit, you know?
I was trying to get him to jump off the roof at the Wyatt show, and he was all about
I don't know if I could live with myself if I just threw Percy right into the shark pit, you know? You got to ease somebody into something like that, you know?
Yeah.
You got to test the water.
Oh, he's an up-and-comer, but
He up in the ante on Uncle Chase, though. That's going to be interesting. That's going to be a good one to tune in for.
I think that's going to be the sleeper match of the night, just because even in my mind, I don't see how it's going to play out. You know, it's just such a different matchup.
Well, with all the wins from Percy lately, I'm kind of expecting him to ride the wave there that he's on and put some work in on this match. So I know
he's collecting those big W's, but Uncle Chase just came off of the GCW show against Tony Deppen, the best around. So
that's what I'm saying here.
You don't show up at GCW unless you earn a place like that, you know?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, I love Percy, but Uncle Chase.
He's telling everybody I'm his dad. This is my dad over here, and everyone just believes him.
Well, wasn't he shouting that out at the last Temperance show too?
I don't know. That kid, we got a strange relationship, man. That kid's got a soft spot for me. I think it's because when he was wrestling Madman Pondo, I fucking chopped the shit out of him. Pondo was giving him up to the crowd, and I laid one into him after that. After the show, he came up, he's just like, man, that was stiff. I was like, I could have went harder.
Well, gentlemen, we appreciate you coming on. This Saturday, August 1st, RPW Horror Slam. Reach out to Chris Kohlenberg at the Ruthless Pro Wrestling Facebook page or Rachel Green at Horror Slam to get your name on that list and get the location for the show. It's not one that you want to miss. Also, like I said before, go to Facebook, Hyperion Championship Belts. Check out Steve's work. I mean, I can't say enough great things about his work. So check him out. And we're grateful for both you guys to come on the show. And we definitely appreciate every time we get to see you guys.
I'm down to do this anytime.
I'll come to the show Saturday and I'll bring this.
Well, yeah, we got another belt sitting there now.
Oh, I'll bring this with me Saturday.
I mean, technically, and I don't even know if Steve knows I got it here. I have another belt of Steve sitting in my house too.
Oh,
which one's that?
Oh,
He says 1 second.
This will be interesting.
I think after me getting called out by 2 of these wrestlers, we talked about an
Oh, the winged eagle.
You got Briar belt.
Nice.
Brer was nice enough. I have a buddy. He's a rapper. He goes by 6 Digit. He's a big juggalo. So he was nice enough to let me borrow the belt for a week so he could go shoot a music video with it.
Yeah.
And I'm kind of making
Very
money
nice.
week, you know.
I have the sister belt of that because I made myself one.
Did you?
Yep.
I will tell you, when I showed him that I had it for him, he popped like a child. I mean, he was almost in tears. And I didn't tell him I was doing it for him. I just knew he had this music video shoot coming up, and, you know, he is a giant ICP fan. So I was like, hey, man, I got a prop for you. And he's like, what's that? And I was like, come over to my house. And I laid it out in front of him. He was just, oh, my God.
Yeah, I designed that one just for Briar because that's
it's got the Briar plate.
Yep.
And it's going right back to him after the music video. You know, this is on loan from the Horse Slam Museum.
Well, if Steve, you're going to be there Saturday, all of us are going to be there Saturday. So Chris, all 4 of us will see you on Saturday.
I got one more little nugget for you.
Go ahead, man.
Neil Diamond Cutter, Matthias Thrasher, 4 Corners of Pain death match.
Awesome.
Oh, my God.
Holy shit.
Nice Thrasher.
Oh,
We're to blow the roof off of here before we sign off. Holy
Right.
shit.
wow.
We have another big surprise, but we're not announcing it ahead of time. You're gonna see it at the show.
Well,
Dig it.
I
Some
mean,
surprises that are giving me the anxiety again there.
That's what we want, man. We want, you know, you can't lay all your cards on the table, but we want, you know, people to be excited about coming out and they getting more than they expected, you know.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely.
So if you guys want to come out, well, not you guys, but if anyone listening wants to come out, message the Ruthless Pro Wrestling Facebook page. It's in Temperance, Michigan. We'll send you the address. You can come on out. It's a donation show, so just give what you feel comfortable with and come watch an amazing day of wrestling. It's gonna be us and a lot of the stars of Horse Slam. You know, Horse Slam's always putting on good shows, so when we team up, there's nothing but gold coming out.
yeah. So definitely reach out and come to that show because that's a nice bomb to drop on us at the end. Death match. Love it.
Hey, by the time this comes out, it'll already been announced. But you know, get you boys excited when it drops. People will know what's going on and they'll come on out. You know.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Chris, Steve, we thank you guys, and we'll be seeing you guys soon.
Thanks.
Always a lot of fun.
Josh,
Steve.
anything you want to say to end us off, or Nick?
I just want to say thank you one more time to Steve, man. This is big thank you for this.
All right, no problem at all.
Josh, what do you got for us?
Well, all I got is, you know, don't miss out on Hyperion Championship belts. Check out our boy Steve's page, everything you want, and don't miss out this weekend. You heard a few exclusives here on what's happening on August the 1st with RPW and Horse Slam. So don't miss out and come on out and have a hell of a time. Peace. We out.